Hello guys. Are you guys able to hear me? Please confirm on chat if you guys are able to hear me. I could see only two viewers. Okay, I could see six people watching our sessions. It's really good. Okay, so we'll wait for a couple of minutes and then we can start, yeah? I could see people have started joining. Okay, so let me start with our day 3 today. So far, what we have discussed about Linux is it was more into theoretical thing, right? But from today, we'll touch base both. First, I'll just explain the details, and then slowly we'll deep dive into the basic commands. So mostly the agenda for today is it'll be like all Linux shell. Okay, so we'll understand what exactly the Linux shells and what are its types and which is the shell that we mostly used. Okay, so before I deep dive into the hands-on, let me start with this theoretical session first. So, okay, so let's talk about shell. Although in the first, I think in the second session we had discussed about shell, right? So what exactly is shell? But here we'll deep dive more into shell because understanding and getting the basic of shell is really important to create a strong foundation. Okay, so the agenda for today is what is shell, what are the types of shells, and how these shells works internally, and we'll talk about few features and concepts. Okay, and once we're done with that, we'll talk about the basic shell commands or the basic Linux commands that are necessary for a beginners or for a new learners to know about. Okay, so let's see the next PPT, next page. So now what is shell? So if I have to discuss about shell, so this is nothing but a program, right? It's a small program which lets the users, here the users are we, right? So we type command, or we open the terminal and we type ls, right? So when we type ls, so what exactly happens, right? So it takes, I mean, this shell will take that instruction and it'll give it to kernel, and kernel will then decide what needs to be done, right? And then accordingly it performs the actions on the hardware, right? So shell, we can define shell as what it is. The it is not the interpreter. I'll show you like in the demo. So I've got my Linux, Red Hat Linux OS here. It's a it's a Red Hat 8. Let me see here. Okay, so here I'm logged in as user now. Now, okay, so this is the terminal, right? So this is what the CLI, I would say. What is cell? So cell is actually the environment which is present in this particular terminal. Yeah. So this terminal is not a shell, but it is the environment. Shell is an environment which is present under this terminal. Okay. So we can't say, don't say that this terminal is a shell. This is just what, it's a terminal. But the program inside this terminal is what do you call is shell. Okay. So now um, you could see that from the PPT. So it's used for running commands, writing scripts, and automating tasks. Okay, and we'll see the types of shells. Like what are the types of shells, right? So before that, let's jump onto the lab and just try to practice. So now here, let me type a couple of commands. Like if I have to see that which shell you are in, right? So how do you do that? So it's a command like echo dollar shell, right? If you type this, then you'll find that you're in which shell. See, I'm in bash shell, right? So I'll talk about the types of shells here. Uh, Now, if I see, if I have to check, right? So how many shells are there in this particular terminal, right? Or in this particular OS? How are you going to find that out? So there's a file that has the details of this particular shells, right? So it has all the details of shells. So the file name is what? It is, uh, let's do a cat. Cat is, this is a command which is used to read a particular file. So here the file name is under /etc and shells. Now if you see the contents of this shell commands, then shell file, you'll see, can you see, this is /bin sh /bin bash usr bin sh usr bin bash, right? So here I could see there are only two shells present, right? So one is sh and the others are bash. Although I'm going to talk about the other shells, but for this particular machine that I have, this particular machine has got only two shells. And if you want to have, different shells to uh, work, then you'll have to install that particular shell. But here we'll not talk about that. We'll only see like these are the types of shells, but will be mostly deep dive into this sh or bash. Okay, mostly bash, because bash is the mostly used shell in all the Linux OS flavors. Okay, let me see that. So PPT. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, the types of shell. So sh, right? So this is the original Unix shell. Uh, it's quick, it's basic and fast. Yeah. Then comes the bash. This is the most common shell, as I said, right? It's the most powerful scripting features. It has, with the help of this, we can also do a scripting. Then you have ZSH uh, shell. So this is user friendly. It is more into auto completion things. Then you've got fish shell. Okay, so these are the types of shells, and there are also two. There are also two shells, that is corn shells and turbo shells. Yeah. So this is the command I checked to find the echo to find the particular shell. What do you do is echo shell. Then you got this one. Yeah, like you are in which shell. Now, if I have to move into a particular shell, since I have only two shells here, that is sh and bash. So if I want to move into sh shell, then what do you do? Simply just type sh. This is a command to change to shell, right? Sh. Okay. Or if you just do sh, then it'll go to what? Into sh shell. See. So now I'm in which shell? I'm in sh shell. Now how do you figure out that I'm in which shell, right? There's a command which I fired in the beginning. So it's echo. Okay, so this is what the bash shell. But right now I'm in sh shell. Now again to back to the bash shell, what do you do? Simply exit it. Now you're in what? You're in bash shell. Okay, so this is how we deal with shell. Now let's move on to next PPT. Now how the shell works. So let's say you type ls command, right? So how it works. So when we type any command, then what happens is your shell inside the terminal will read the instruction. Okay, this user has typed the ls command, or some other command, pwd command, right? So first of all, this shell will parse and interprets it. Then it will check that this particular file, this particular shell, sorry, this particular command, okay, that we typed, right, is actually a built-in program or not, right? So let's say if I say that you type ls command, right? Let's say you type ls command. So what shell does is shell will check into the system to figure out whether this particular command is a built-in or it's a external command, right? If you just type any random word, right? So it'll say what? It didn't find, right? The command didn't found, which means this particular command is not present. So now if I say that I have fired ls command, right? So this particular command is giving us output. So when we get output, it means this particular command is present in this particular in this system, right? Now what shell does is it will just try to check whether this particular command is present or not, right? So this is what I actually want to say. Now, yeah, so it says then when it says first shell will read, right? This is ls command. Okay, then it will parse and interpret it, and now it will check if it's a built-in program or not. So of course ls is a built-in program, right? So the other day, I mean the last sessions, I actually explained like why do you have this, right? Now if we are able to run ls command, there's a reason, right? So without any reason, we can't say that we're not able to run this command, right? So if we are able to get the output, like let's say uh, pwd, isn't it? When you do pwd, we're getting what? This is in the present working directory. So these are the commands in which we are able to run, because it has it has a binary files into somewhere, right? I mentioned two paths. So we are able to run any commands is because of what? The binaries, right? So where are those binaries? How do you find that out? Let's say, let's not take ls command. Let's take some other command. Okay, so let's take pwd. Now, when you do pwd, it's showing me the current path, right? But how this particular command is showing this path, right? So there has to be a reason. It is because this particular command has got some binary files inside this system, inside somewhere in that particular locations. Okay, so because of that binary, we are able to fire these commands. Okay, and again, those binaries we are able to perform it because it has some libraries, right? So understanding these small basic concept should be always into your mind. So if you start understanding from this way, then only when you do thorough practice you'll come to know. Now for example, I said that okay, this pwd command, right, this is in what this shows the present working directory. This we know, okay, from command wise, when you do ls, it'll just listing out the files and directories which are present in that particular uh, place, right? And when we do pwd, it'll just show me that I'm in which location, right? So this is from the command perspective we understood it. But internally, what happens, why this is happening, so that is important. This happens because we have the binary files. Okay, we have the binary files which are present in x locations, and as a and because of those binary files we are able to what? Perform these commands. Okay, so let's deep dive now. Now pwd, as I said, is a is able to run because it has a binary file. Now how do you find that binary, right? Okay, I understood that pwd file will give you the present working directory, but what was the reason, right? How it is able to do that? It is able to do that because it has some binaries which are present in this particular machine. So how do you find that out? So that's the most important thing. So there are simple commands by which we can do it. So we can find the location. Okay, we can find the location of a binary files for a particular command by using a command called what? Which. Okay, if you just type which pwd, can you say this? This is showing what? USR bin pwd. So what exactly is this? This is the binary. Okay, this is a binary file with the name pwd, which is present in USR bin. Okay, I can probably show that. Now if you have to see that, let's go to USR bin. Okay, now I'm in which directory? Now if I do ls pwd, you'll see there's a binary file, right? Can you see this? pwd, which is in this color. Now if you just do like this, see this is a file, right? But will not be able to see the contents of this file. If you see it, it'll just give you all those non-readable files. Okay, so it's just a binary. So only the system can understand this file. This is a non-human readable form. So because of this binary file, we are able to get the what? Output of this command. I hope I made it clear, because these are the basic concept that we have to understand. So what exactly happens is, as a beginner, when we start learning Linux, right? So without knowing these basic and the foundational concept, we quickly jump onto different commands. But ultimately, when asked about this, how this particular command runs, what happens in the background, we have no answer for that, right? So this is the reason I actually wanted to set up a base. I want to set a strong foundation so that from the day one you will be able to build such kind of concept. Okay, so this is the only reason I was stressing much on this. So since if you just do, let's say, pwd, right, let's go to a top level directory. Okay, so what is that top level directory of Linux? Like in Windows we have C, right, C drive, right? So what do you have in Linux? Can anyone tell me? Let's have a quick interactive sessions. Can anyone tell me, like, what is the top level root directory of Linux? I'll just wait for a couple of seconds to see your answer. Okay, let me say that. I don't see any answer here. Okay. So the top level root directory of Linux is what? It is slash, right? Which is defined by what? This one, right? This is the top level root directory. Okay. Now I'm in which directory at the moment? So I'm somewhere in USR bin, right? So if I just do pwd, so this is my current path. Now I was thinking, let's go to slash, let's go to top level top the root directory. Yeah. So how you do that? How do you move into a different directory? Again, that's a question, right? So I have not shown that, so I'm just showing now. So if you want to go to any directory, okay, so there's a command called cd. Cd means what? Change directory. Okay, and if you just do cd slash, slash is the what? Your root directory, right? Just like your C drive in Windows, here it's root. Now if you do cd slash, now you're in what? Root directory. How do you find that out? Again, do a pwd. Now in root directory. Okay, now if I want to see the contents of this particular directory, then what do you do? ls hyphen lrth. Yeah, so this will, you can easily do ls, but if you want to see the files in long listing format, then you can do what? lrts. It will give you more human readable form. Now can you see these files, right? These are the files and directories inside your root directory. Okay, now I actually wanted to make you understand why do you have these, right? So how about this? sbin, usr bin, sbin. Okay, we have this one, lib64, which is actually showing what? USR lib, right? We've got lib, which is again showing USR lib. We've got bin again, which is what? USR bin. Now, although it is shown like this, but I actually want to understand why we have these things, right? Why this arrow? Let me try to explain one by one. So let's talk about bin first, yeah? Since I said for any commands that you're running, right, it is only because of what? Your bin files, right? The binary files which is inside this bin directory. Okay, so this bin directory or this us directory, right? So let me go to bin. So these are nothing but what? Same. Okay, so this is the actual location and this is the shortcut, I would say. Otherwise both the directories will have the same file. Now let me prove that to you. Now let me go to bin directory first. Okay, now if I want to see, okay, if I want to see the binaries of ls, okay, the binaries of ls command, then just do ls, right? See, can you see this? Inside this also we have this ls. Okay, now let's see for cd, right? Yeah, see, so these are the binary files. So because of these binary files we're able to what fire these commands, as I already mentioned, right? Now the same binary files will also be there in what usr bin, right? So this is the actual path. It is just because of the convenience that the developers might have made it short, right? So that's why they've also kept it as what under bin. Otherwise it's a bit long, right? So these are nothing but same location. Okay, so both the location will have these files. Now if I have to see whether this particular binaries are located under this or not, you can probably check. See ls. Okay, let's go to usr bin, right? Okay, pwd, I'm in usr bin. Now if I want to see the listing of file out here, let's say ls of ls, right? See, let's say ls of cmd cd. Okay, let's say if I want to see some other file, some other command, let's say ping command. See, the fact is, let's say if you, I'm not removing it, but if you remove these ping binaries from this particular location, then if you again run ping command, then it'll say this particular command not found. Why? Because you have deleted the binary from here. Okay, now there's a third concept that I actually want to put much stress on it. So that is, can you say this? You have lib, right? This particular lib. So again, why I'm able to the reason for these binaries is because what these are linked with these libraries. So to run some commands, we need some binaries. That is these binaries, right? And again, these binary use what those libraries. Okay. So if you just go to live slash live. Okay. Now if you just do ls, right? So these are the modules, right? These are the what libraries. This is what, this is binary files, right? They are what, they are in sync with these modules, these libraries, and that is the reason we are able to what perform these commands. Okay, so this is what I actually wanted to highlight, because these are really important when some commands do not run, which means there should be some binary missing, or you do not have permission to run that command. Okay, so that is the reason uh, we get such kind of issues when we deal with it. So for example, let's say if I have to, as a normal user, if you do a create a user, right, it is not possible because normal user do not have rights to create any user, right? So that's where it is what, because number one, it doesn't have permission, and number two, such kind of binaries is not present for that user. Okay, now this sbin, right? So for the normal users, right, we have these binaries inside what usr, and this is the location for the root user, right? For the root user to fire commands, this is the location usr sbin. Okay, let me see the chart. Okay, let me have a quick look. The class has started. Yeah, that's started. Your voice sound like Pakistani. Okay, no, I'm not Pakistani, man. I'm Indian. cd su root. Okay, let's jump into the next. I hope it is clear, right? Let me jump into the next. So what I was showing it. So this is what I mean. You have to go deep dive into it. Okay. So although I've just shown you like how we can fire these commands and what exactly happens when we fire command, right? ls command, cmd command, and why we are able to fire that command only because of what the binaries which are available under slash bin o slash usr or bin, right? So this is what I actually wanted to highlight. And again, that binaries are interrelated with the libraries which is there in lib or lib64. So there's a couple of things I want to make it clear. So this lib64 and lib, right? So lib will have all the libraries which are supported to uh, 32, right? 32-bit architecture. And for the 64-bit, it'll be under lib64. And after that, you have your all directories, right? Home, boot. So these we're going to explore it. Now, so this is what I actually wanted to highlight like how this particular shell works, right? So you type a command, then your shell which is present into your terminal, right? So that actually reads the input, and once they pass and interprets it, it will check into this particular terminal whether this particular ls command is present or not. If it is present, then it will perform the other activity, like we are into which direction. Okay, so like the way that I showed, right? Here I showed uh, once you once your cell. Okay, so one the cell will check the cell will check what whether ls cmd are built in or not. Yeah, if yes, what it is doing, I showed, right, manually. If yes, it'll check where, right? So it'll invoke the which command, right? It'll say like which location. When you do which, what we got what slash usr slash bin, and under that we had this binary, right? So this is how shell also interacts like that. And once we got this binary means what, it will show the output, right? Like ls means listing the files and directories inside the machine. Okay, so this is how the shell works, and this is exactly I've shown, right? See, now types I'm done. How the shell works also I've explained. Now again, when the shell starts, okay, then there's a startup happens. So it runs set of scripts, some set of scripts when it starts. Okay, so for the login shell, it will invoke this pass profile. Okay, so there are two profiles, pass and profile. These are for the login shell. Then after that, there's an interactive shells happen. So it's a bash RC. Okay, then once these shell these profiles gets run, then you have your environment. Okay, now variables. So shell also supports variables. For example, let's say if I want to set a variable, right? Then how do you gonna set that? You'll set like this. Okay, so let's say I'd like to set a variable, right? So how you do that? Should be equals and under double quotes, okay, test. So test is the variable. So if you want to set some variable into a shell, then this is how you set it. Okay, so name, and the variable name is name. Okay, and under that we're putting what? Test is the value. Okay, okay, let's say there shouldn't be any space. Okay, let's type test. Now this is the variable that we have just set it, okay, inside this terminal, inside this shell. Now if you want to print that variable, how do you gonna do that? Can you see it? See, of course we'll do echo, but here you have to set the variable name always with what? Equal sign, and then you have to use what? This dollar sign to access it. Exactly. So to print anything, right? To print any output, any input or any text into Linux, how you do it? With the command echo, right? Echo is a command to print anything, any text you type, right? So now here, if you have to call this variable, right? What this variable has. So what do? Echo simply dollars, okay, and then name. If you type this, you'll get the result as what? Test. So this is what I actually want to highlight, like how we define or how we play around with variables in shell. Okay. Yeah, again, these are the same explanation, like how we can do that. Okay, so double quotes, then single quotes for the little text, and backticks. So these are also important. We'll go through it later on. I'll show you this also. Okay, what's that? Now let's talk about let's talk about more about basic commands. Okay, so these are all the basic commands that I actually want to show you. We'll do this now. I hope you guys are getting it. Any question? Sorry, let me see the chart once again, guys. Do we have anything else? Within the attendance link. Uh, that's nothing special, nothing important. Okay, let's deep dive into a couple of basic commands. Let me read it from here. Okay, so these are the basic commands that you guys should know it. Now, as I mentioned, PWD, right? So this actually telling us that I'm in which location. So I'm in which location now? I'm in /lib. Now, if I want to move into a different location, then there's a command called cd. This one. Okay. So again, I move to what? Your top level directory, root directory. So that is root. Okay. Now there's a concept called dot and dot double dot. Okay. So this single dots, it denotes the present. It denotes that you're in the present working directory. Okay. When you use this, it'll show you, or you'll move you to the present working directory. Now double dots will shift you to the one step of this directory of current directory. Okay, so this is how it works. Now let's say I'm here in this particular directory. Okay, let's go to some. Okay, let's be here. Now, if you want to see any files in directory, then what we are using is we're using ls command, right? Now, if I want to see this in long listing format, then there is a command called this command, right? Now, let's say if I want to see all the files, right? So this particular directory, that is slash, might have some hidden files also, right? So that also you can see by what? ls hyphen al. A means all, okay? So here, can you see this? Dot and double dot, yeah? So the hidden files in Linux is always under this particular things. It's all denotes by this. Okay. Now let's see if I want to create any directory, right? So there's a command what called make directory, right? So let's create somewhere else. Pwd. Let me go to somewhere else. Let's go to now. Let's create here only. The directory name what? Demo. Okay. So if you see this, then you'll see that this directory is created here. Can you see this? Okay, this is just created. If you set this to the time, okay, just create it. Now, since I have created this directory, now if you want to move to this particular directory, then what do you do? It's just cd demo, right? See, now I'm in what? Cd. Now if you do this ls, you won't find anything right out here because I've not created any file. Now let's say if I want to create any files inside this directory, then what do you do? There are lot of commands by the help of which you create files, right? Either you can use vi command, or you can use cat greater than sign and then file name, okay? Or if you want to create a empty files, then there's a command called what? Touch. So this is a command by the help of which you can create empty files, multiple files you can create out of it. Now before we deep dive into cat and vi, let's go deep dive into touch. Okay, so I'm in which direction, which locations? I'm in demo, right? Under demo, which I have just created. Now if I want to create multiple files, let me create one file first. That is empty file, yeah? So how are you going to do that? Touch, yeah? Touch file one. Now if you do ls, you'll see that this file has been created. Can you see this? Okay. Now how do you put contents in it? Right? If I want to put some contents, right? Let's say if I want to write something on this file, how are you going to do that? Okay. There are a number of ways to do that. Number one, let's do it this way. If you do echo, let's say if I write welcome to day 3 Linux learning, right? If you do this, and if you just mention the file name, right? And just do this, can you see this? Now if you just do file, See, this is blank, right? Echo is only show you on the terminal. Now, if you want this to insert into file, right? How are you gonna do that? Let me try. Okay. Now, if you cat file, right? See, can you see this? This sign will tell you that what you can insert the contents into this file. Okay. Now, how do you remove this contents? How to empty this file? Simple things. You can just do what opposite of this sign and then file name. So just do this. Now, if you do cat is what we are we're reading the files, right? So if you do cat, it'll be an empty file. Sorry. If you do space, this should be space, right? Okay. Now if you do this, okay, if you do this, okay, and this should be command to run cat. Oh, let me see that. Okay, let me see this. Yeah, this will probably work now. Now if you just do file, now if you do this, right? Now this is asking for what the contents. Now if you don't type anything out here, then the contents will be removed. Control C to save the file. Okay, so now you can see that there is no contents. So my bad. This should have done like this. Okay, let's say I want to insert again the same contents. Now if you want to what delete that, right? So this with file. Now if you just do this, see. So with this command, what we are emptying the files. So this is needed when there's a problem, right? So in the this is this can be your day-to-day task when you work as a L1 engineer. So wherein let's say you have your you have your disk usage going high, right? And if there are some files which is heavy, which is in MB, and if you want to just empty the files, not deleting the files, but just emptying the file. So in that case, this command is effective. This command is really effective. So this is how you do it. Okay. So this is how you empty the files. Now, so I talked about touch file, yeah, touch command. So inside this there is only one file. Now with touch command you can create, number one, you can create empty files. Number two, you can create multiple files with the help of touch command. Okay, so if you just do touch uh, test underscore 1 to 10, yeah, if you do this then you see that test 1, test 2, test 3, test 10 files will be created. 10 files will be created here. So you can see this test 1, test 2, test 3. So this test touch command is used to create multiple files. You can create thousands of files. Okay, so this command is very important. Okay, so now to see the contents of file, right? So let's say if I write echo hi, welcome to day 3 of Linux learning, right? Okay, and if you just do what, let's say file a.txt. Okay, if you just do cat, now cat is the command which is used to see the contents of a file, right? But let's say you have your file which is like many pages, right? Let's take the example of one file from some other directory. So let's go to this here and I'll just see which file I might have more contents. Let's go to etc and I'll see the files. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about, okay, let's see about how about taking warlock message. Okay, so it has lots of files. Let's see, 75 line. Okay, so let's see now what exactly I'm doing. By doing what, cat, I'm just watching the contents of this file, right? Now this is whole in what, 75. See, I have to scroll up and see it, right? Now if I don't want this to happen, then there are other commands where you can just see the file contents page by page. So which command is that? There's a command called more, and then your file name. Okay, so if you do this, it'll just show you page by page. See, you see, first 27% is just showing, and then if you just keep on entering it, it'll show line by line. Yeah, can you see this? See, so this is how the useful of this command. Okay, now this is more command. Now if you want to see the first 10 lines of this particular file, then how are you going to do it? So there's a command called head. Okay, if you just do head and then file name, okay, it'll just print the first 10 lines of your file. See, and if you want to see the last 10 lines of a file, then what do you do? There's a command called tell. See, the last 10 lines. And let's say if you want to see the first 20 lines of a file, so what do you do? Head minus 20, not minus 20, it's hyphen 20, and then file name. Okay, see the 10 lines. Now how do you see whether this is 10 line or not? You just what, do a pipe will extend to add more commands. Okay, it'll extend, it'll extend commands, and then it'll show you the output. So if you just do, there's a command called WC, word count. WC stands for word count, okay? Hyphen L. If you if you just do this, then it'll what's so the number of lines in your file. So ideally head 20 means what? Your file of course should have 20 lines, right? So say 20. Now I want to see how many lines were there in var log message. Then you can just do what? How are you gonna do it? First you cat that file, see the contents, and under contents you just add the pipe symbol and count the number of lines. Okay, cat var log message. Okay, then wc hyphen l. See, you've got total 82 lines of lines in this particular file. Now if you want to see the last 30 lines of your file, then how are you going to do it? Simply tell hyphen 30 and then file name. Okay, see the last 30 lines of your file. So this is how you play around with files. First you understood like how you create directory, just like in Windows. You just do a right click and then if you just go to new, right? So you create the folder. So this is exactly what we are doing here. We're just doing what? Creating directory with the help of make dir command. And once we have created directory, inside that directory we have what? We have started creating files, right? So there are different ways of creating files. Number one is with the command touch. Okay, this is really important command. And there are other ways of creating files, right? With the help of cat also you can do it. Okay, let me try to show you again. Where we were under slash demo, right? Let's go there. Okay, here we have created these files. Okay, now with the help of cat command, how we create a file? Just do cat and then your file name. That's it. b.txt. Let's say b.txt. Okay. Okay. Since it says what the cat b.txt, no such files are directory because we're reading this file. Okay. There's no file in it. So that is the reason it says no file. Now, if you want to create files, right? Then what do? Just give a minute, guys. I'm back. So this says cat file name. It says this particular file is not present, right? So now if I see if you do cat a.txt, because a.txt is present here, then what it should show, this is there. Okay. Now if you want to create file with the help of cat command, then how do you gonna do it? Cat b.txt. Okay, but you'll have to what? Give this greater than sign. Okay, so once you give this, then what? You just type some contents, right? Test file. If you just enter it, then you do what? Control C to save it. Now if you just do cat again, you see that this content is present in this file. Okay, now if you just do ls, then you'll find that b.txt has been created. Okay, so b.txt has been created. So this is the second way of creating files. And the third way I told you, right? So if you just do echo and just write some contents, or if you don't even write contents, then what? If you just do this symbol with the file name v.txt, then you see that v.txt has been created, right? So you can see the last one. So there are different ways of creating files. Okay, so you just have to keep on practicing it. you have to do it by your own. On a daily basis, you have to practice. Okay, just give a minute. Do we have anything else now? Let me see the chart. Okay, there's nothing I could see it. Let me jump on. Uh, how much time we have? 16:33. I don't know. So these are the basic commands that you guys should aware of. Okay, so you have to practice a lot on a daily basis, because when you learn for the first time, right? So you will fumble. You'll have trouble, to move from one directory to another directory. But as in when you practice it, then it'll come ultimately. So automatically it'll fall in place. So don't worry about that. The only thing is practice. Now what I was going to show you is, since we have created all these files, right? Okay, so now if I want to delete all these files, how are you going to do it? Okay, if you want to delete one file at a time, then you can probably do what? RM, right? And just give the file name. Let's say if I want to delete file number one. Now this is asking, are you really sure that you want to delete this file, right? So if you say yes, this will be deleted. Now if you just do this command again, you see that file 1 has been deleted. Okay, there's no file 1 that has been deleted. So that is in case when you have to delete one file. Now if you do not want the system to prompt you to confirm you that are you sure you want to delete this file or not, right? If you don't want the system to ask you this question, then how are you going to do it? Let's say if I want to delete test one, okay, and I do not want this prompt, how are you going to do it? It's rm hyphen f, okay, and then test one. Now this time the system will not ask whether you want to delete or not. It will be deleted. Okay, so this will be deleted without even asking, because you've said the what, forcefully delete the file. Say now again, if you do lsrth, then you see that test one is gone. Okay, so this is how you play around, or this is how you interact. Okay, this is how you practice. Now this is there. Now if I want to delete all these files at one go, how are you going to do it? All right, so you can do what, rm hyphen f. Okay, either you do what, you keep on writing test 2, test 3, test 4 until the last, right? Either you can do that, or you can delete all the files at one go. So what do you do? Simply do what, rm-f, and then star, right? Star means all the files. If you just do this, then all the files will be deleted. See, now if you do ls lrth, all gone, right? You have no files left because you have deleted this file, all these files. So this command is very very important, and at the same time very very danger. Okay, so always think twice thrice before you run this command. Are you really sure that you want to delete these files or not? Okay, so after getting confirmations, after you having a full confidence, you delete or you fire this command. Otherwise, it'll create a problem. Because I did run this command when I was working in my previous organization. So it was like I shouldn't have run this command, but I accidentally ran this command, and as a result, the system, okay, which had one of the applications, it was just for the testing purpose we had created, right? So there's no production; it's just a test case. So I had deleted the whole files, and that too under uh, slash boot. So this is the most important directory in Linux. We're going to deep dive into it later on. Okay, so be very careful when you run this command, so that you can always in a safe hand. So these are the commands by which you play around with the files, how you create files, how you delete files. Yeah. Now the other thing is, I told you that by mkdir you're creating only one directory, right? Now what if you want to create multiple directories? So right now I'm under demo directory, right? Now if I want to create multiple directories into this demo, how are you going to do it? That's simply doing what? Mkdir, right? Let's say d1, d2, d3. If I do this, whether it's working or not. Now if you do ls, say I'm able to create what? Multiple directories, right? So this is how you create multiple directories when it is needed. Okay. Now if you want to move into this particular directory, then you can just move like this. I'm in D2. Now here you can create files. Yeah. Okay. So this is how you create files. Now again you what? Delete files. Say you're asking. Yes. This is gone. Now if you want to delete the directories, right? So right now I'm in what? D2. Let me move into demo again. I'm in demo now. Now if you want to delete the directories, how are you going to do it? rmdir. Okay. So D1. So this is how we delete directory. And if you want to delete all those directories, then how are you going to do it? Let's say if it works or not. Gone. You see, right? All the directories that I have created are gone now. So this is how you create multiple directories and how you delete multiple directories, right? So this is the initial level. This is the basic level that you should be familiar with. Just like in Windows, we start creating files, and we start, move that files into a directory, and before that we create a directory. So in Linux it will be a complete command line. So uh, this needs a lot of practice to get a good confidence and to get a good hands on. Okay, so this is how you should do this on a daily basis. Now the other commands, let me see the ppt here. Okay, so pwd cd I've already taught. Touch command, mkdir, cp command. Okay, there's also move command and rm. Okay, so this rm is actually a short form. Okay, this means what? Remove a particular file or directory. Now there's a command called move. Yeah, it's mv. Now what is the use of mv command, right? So let's say I'm in demo directory. Let me create some other directory. make dir demo1. Okay, now you could see if you just do ls of slash, then you could see that this demo1 directory has been created. So can you see this? This is demo and demo1. Now if you want to create one file inside that, inside demo, let's create one file. Touch file one. Okay, now I could see that this particular file is created under demo. Now how can I move this command, how can I move this file into this particular directory, right? The newly created directory, that is demo1. So how are we going to do it? This is, we can do this by what? mb command. mb file1 under what directory? Demo1, right? Now if I do mb command, then what it does is it will move this file into a demo1, and this file, this demo, the demo directory will be empty. Okay, it will be emptied. Say, so like we do control x, right? You do a control x in windows, right? And then you do a control v. So this is exactly how it works. So see, now you could see that there is no file in demo. However, you have a file that we have moved into demo1. See, so this is the use of move command. Okay guys, okay, now what, oh, anything left here? So see this cat, I told you, right? Cat command, head command, tail command. Remember, just like less, more command, you can also use less command to view the contents of the file. Okay, you can probably do that. I can show you if you want. See, I was reading one file, right? It's var log. You don't have to type much. So see, if you see this, if you want to go to message, right? You're reading the contents of message. So just type me and then tab. It will automatically take. So this file, right? So now if you do less instead of cat is showing the whole contents. Now less will show just like more. See, okay, yeah. So these are the different commands that you should be familiar with. The rest, this redirections, although I've taught, right? So redirection. Okay, let me explain once more. Okay, so let me show you. Let's say I'm under what? This one, right? Let me go to here. See, I'm under slash path. Okay, and if I do ls, I've got these file, right? Now what I want is I actually want to save these output, right? The output that you're getting at this terminal output, right? The which has the contents of file. Now if you want to save this into a sort of file, particular file, then what do you do? ls a.txt. Let me write down. Okay, now what happens is your output of ls command has been saved under a.txt file. If you just do a.cat text, then see, can you see this? All the contents of this ls output has been saved under a.txt file. Even this a.txt file has been saved. Okay, so this is how this is what the important of this operator. This greater than operator is helps to add the contents into a file. Let me give you an example. Let's say let me create one file. Okay, b.txt, sorry, b.txt. Okay, now just write welcome to Linux class session. Okay, so you've just written this much. Now control C. If you see cat btxt, you have only this many contents, right? Now if you want to add more contents in it, then what do? Cat double b.txt, right? Okay, so if you only do this, then all the contents which are there will be removed. I'll show you the example. Let's say if I do this, okay, and if I just write hello guys, okay, if I just do this and if I save it, now if you cat it, you see, can you see this? These contents have been deleted. So with this, whatever contents you had earlier will be deleted and it will save the new contents. But if you use the double greater than sign, then it will not delete it, it will append your new contents. Okay, so let's see. I have hello guys content now. Now if you want to append it, right? Okay, now if you, sorry, it should be like this. My bad. Okay, then you can write welcome, yeah, and then if you just control C. Now if you read this, okay, let me see that. Yeah, this is what it should be for adding contents. Okay, let me see. This should be there. Okay, now see, can you see it? So this operator helps to what? Append the new contents. So this is what the file redirections, which anyways will deep dive more into it. Anything else now? And this pipe, yeah, so pipe, if you want to grab some error, then how do you do it, right? So let's say, okay, so now if I want to capture some error, right, out of it, then you just can't read one line by line this file, right? So what do? Cat, simply do what? This is a pipe sign. We are appending the commands, okay? Then grep. If you just do hyphen I, then it will take both capital and small, okay? Let's say if I just if I have to search error, then see all the lines which has error word mentioned will be shown. See, and likewise you can further see like what exactly the error you're getting, right? So this is how these commands are important. Now we've got this sleep command, job command. Okay, so these are a bit we're going to discuss this, but there are still basic commands we have to explore. This is just uh, the initial commands that I have explained. We'll deep dive into these commands, okay, in the upcoming sessions. Then we've got this environment variables, how we set this path, okay. So all those cd command type. There's also a command called type. So what exactly it does, we're gonna deep dive, okay. So far I think it's good to practice the commands that I showed, but coming time in the upcoming session, that is tomorrow, we'll touch base on these basic commands, and second we'll also do a couple of theory, okay. Let me see the chat now. PDF, okay, STD forms. What type of problem this command create? Zero empires. And rename the file. Okay, I think there's nothing to share here. Okay then guys, we'll wind up now. So in the upcoming session, that is tomorrow, uh, I'll share the contents shortly, okay, and then we'll discuss it. But we'll touch base more on into this basic commands itself, okay, and then it'll take more couple of days to still talking about this commands, okay. So we'll deep dive into it. Okay, and any question, guys? If you have any questions, do let me know. Otherwise, we can end this stream. Okay, there's no more question. Let's end the session. See you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye.